Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about something very interesting that will ultimately have an impact on all of us, and while it isn't directly related to Grand Theft Auto or GTA 5 or Grand Theft Auto Online for that matter, it could have an impact down the line, and even on future GTA games like Grand Theft Auto 6. And what I'm going to be talking about today is the idea of cross-platform play. You guys know this has been in the news recently, and this wasn't something I was going to cover, but honestly, I was asking for Q&A questions, which you guys know I do every single Sunday, and a lot of people were talking about, I got multiple questions regarding, what do you think about Sony and Microsoft working together? How would that impact GTA? And while I figured it wouldn't make the most sense for a Grand Theft Auto 5 Q&A, I think it would be great to talk about, which is what I'm going to do right now, in kind of a separate video discussing what I think and how it could ultimately impact Grand Theft Auto, and could it end all console wars? We'll talk about that all in this video. So in case you guys missed it, and to give you a quick recap, on Monday, Microsoft publicly invited other platform holders to allow the same games to be played across online different console networks. So this was an incredibly unprecedented move that, if enacted, could bring an end to more than a decade of segregation between the PlayStation Network and the Xbox Live. Now, Sony actually responded to this, and it's pretty cool. They seem open-minded, but didn't particularly mention discussing a deal with Xbox Live. They stated, PlayStation has been supporting cross-platform play between PC on several titles, starting with Final Fantasy. They go on to say, we would be happy to have a conversation with any publishers or developers who are interested in cross-platform play. All right, so that's pretty awesome. Sony acknowledges kind of Microsoft's announcement that they want to work with other online networks. And it's funny enough, because on Monday, Microsoft also made the announcement that it will support cross-platform play between Xbox One, Windows 10, and other multiplayer networks if they are interested. Now, those other online multiplayer networks they're talking about would probably be Steam, and would also probably be the PlayStation Network. And also, Xbox One announced its first cross-platform connectivity game would be Rocket League, which will allow Xbox One and PC customers to play against each other. And Rocket League is a game that I, of course, love, and it's already present in the PS4 version of that game, which allows PSN players to match up against players on Steam. So this is incredibly cool, and it looks like this could be the future of gaming, and basically just tearing down all these walls that separate us on consoles. Now, let's talk about the fact, will this end console wars? Will this end the divide between consoles? And I've kind of broken it down into the trinity of things to think about when selecting a console. The first of which is going to be the games. So obviously, the way businesses work and the way the world works, there's always going to be some exclusivity. When there's money involved, there will be exclusivity. So whether it's Xbox and Halo, or whether it's PlayStation 4 and Uncharted, or whether it's certain games getting DLCs early, players are always going to have a preference on what system they prefer. And that's not going to change. As long as there's exclusivity, there will always be certain preferences. Number two is the hardware and software aspect. You might love the Xbox One controller. You might hate the PS4 controller, and vice versa. You might love the PS4 software. You might hate the Xbox One software. So that's going to be another determining factor in terms of what kind of system you will ultimately choose. The hardware, the software, the controller, how it looks, whatever the case might be, some certain features it has. Those are going to be distinct differences. But the third one, and this is where cross-platform might actually tear down that barrier, is where your friends and other people you game with are going to be. So I know for an absolute fact that I chose my first gaming console based off of what my friends were going to get. I mean, it made sense. I didn't want to be the one guy in school or the one guy in my party of friends that had that other console and couldn't play. So that's a huge issue, and that's a huge determining factor. Well, this cross-platform play would completely eliminate that. Imagine being able to play a game with someone who's on PC, someone who's on the PlayStation 4, and also someone on the Xbox One. It could be so seamless, so easy, and like the article mentioned, which I'll leave a link to in the description, would essentially eliminate those walls and barriers that would keep us from playing with our friends and ultimately other players. Now, you might be asking yourself, how does this impact Grand Theft Auto Online? Well, GTA Online is almost one of those perfect candidates to be a part of this cross-platform play, because on each system, there essentially isn't a difference. Grand Theft Auto Online on the Xbox One is essentially the same as GTA Online on the PS4 and on the PC. There are no distinct differences, meaning that if you were to take away those walls, pretty much everything would operate as normal. You wouldn't see like a guy on Xbox and a guy on PS4, and their experiences would be that much different. It would almost be the exact same. Now, I'm not sure if it's too late to implement something like that on Grand Theft Auto 5's version of GTA Online, but who knows? Maybe when the next installment of Grand Theft Auto comes out, whether it's GTA 6 or, another installment of, let's say, Vice City, whatever the case might be, maybe that Grand Theft Auto Online will have this cross-platform capability. And I think it would be pretty cool. There's lots of positives to this. One, your Grand Theft Auto Online lobbies would be much fuller, much complete. You wouldn't have like empty lobbies where you're the only guy there. Jobs would fill up much quicker. Races, TDMs, death matches, last team standings, they would be full, 30 players pretty much all the time, considering you're combining 3 population groups together. So that would be great. You would have fuller lobbies, interaction would be so much better, but you also need to keep in mind that there might be some negatives, hiccups, and bumps, especially when you combine the PC aspect of it, introducing it to consoles. Obviously, you'd have to deal with modders, hackers, people dropping in money. So there wouldn't be just a transition period that was very easy where they would just say, okay, you're all together now, have fun. There would obviously be some hiccups and bumps and tests in the road in order to get it right and to make sure that everything was working smoothly. So is this something I could see going forward in the future for Grand Theft Auto Online? Absolutely. It seems like one of those perfect games for cross-platform where whatever system you're on, it doesn't matter. You're relatively going to have the same experience with your friends and maybe your other crew members as well. And that could be great because when you're in a crew, you might have a very popular crew like myself. So I do lots of live streams and spending sprees, and I do car shows and fashion shows, and we play adversary modes and new content together. And every time I stream, everyone's like, when are you going to play on Xbox or PC or PS4? And that would essentially solve that issue. I get to play with all you guys, and it wouldn't matter what system we're on. So the benefits here are insane. Again, I don't know if this is possible to implement on this current version of GTA Online, maybe in another version. And would this end console wars? To an extent it would, because you wouldn't have to choose sides to play with your friends, but you'd certainly have the, preference of game, controller, hardware. So that rivalry like Mac versus PC, Coke versus Pepsi would still ultimately be there. It would just knock down sort of the walls that would prevent you from playing with each other. So instead of being locked in separate rooms, you'd still be in separate rooms, but maybe the wall would be transparent and you'd be able to talk and maybe play with each other. I'm really not too sure. That's kind of the best analogy I could think of. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments section down below. What do you think of cross-platform play? Do you think it would work for Grand Theft Auto Online? Do you think it would break down the barriers of console wars? Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. If you did go on to enjoy the video, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.